Hello and welcome. Welcome to CPR's Clubhouse Live. My name is CPR Jose Ortiz. Of course, we have some special guests this week. Of course, we are doing this live from Facebook and also on YouTube. So welcome to everybody who has joined us tonight. Once again, my name is CPR Jose Ortiz. I'll be your host. And right now I'm being joined by the man of the hour. His name is Rudy Fausto. And there was a song released today. We noticed that the song was released. It's a song that we've been waiting for many, many months. I think a year for some. And it's called Walking Away. Rudy, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, man. How you doing?
Hey, man, it's really an honor to have you here. First time that we get to chat live like this.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited for you as well. I finally got the opportunity to share with the world the song that I heard this past summer at Fred Nice's studio, AJ Cardona.
Yeah.
And I thought it was wonderful. I thought it was an amazing song. I couldn't wait to have it in my possession to play. And then, we were not aware it was released. And that was due to the label Reza Sharp Records putting it out. The international part of Reza Records,
right?
And it's just taken everyone by storm because of the story of the song, which is really amazing. It was a 3-part conversation, a 3-part story.
Yeah.
The beginning of the story is a man leaving his wife because he can't handle the responsibility.
That's right.
The second part is him trying to go back to the person he left behind, and she's telling him it's too late. And the final part is the part where it got me, is the fact that he met his son, and his son is like, he's going to also walk away. And it's three different versions of walking away from a relationship. It's just an amazing song.
Well, thank you so much, man. And actually the song is funny. I actually wrote it thinking about my dad. So when I first wrote it, now mind you, I put myself in his shoes, and so I decided that I wanted to make this a real story, the way that old freestyle songs used to be, like "Give Me Tonight" was an old, like that was a story of a nightclub situation. I kind of wanted to put that into perspective, into a beautiful song, and I that melody just kind of came out of nowhere one day, and I just started writing it.
I just think that the storytelling is really amazing. How you captivated my mind in the beginning. Like, he's telling the story of leaving. He didn't want the responsibility.
Yeah.
He couldn't be a father, which resonates with a lot of people. I mean, it resonated with me. It resonated with people that I know. It is actually the story of people that have done it that I know. And it's things that I warn people about. I've had conversations with men who were not ready for that responsibility. And I've talked about the long-term ramifications of leaving a family behind and what will happen in the future.
Exactly.
And things that have happened and have come to fruition years later. Right. And I think this is just an amazing song.
Well, thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. Now, I will say that eventually I did come to terms with my dad, and so my dad's gone now. He passed on a few years ago, and so before he died, we did have that moment where I was able to give him what he always wanted, and that was just for me to forgive him. So that's another story for us to tell.
Yes. For me, same thing. I've had similar situations with my father, and we're in a great place now. It's trying to find that place with your father, trying to find that kinship, that father and son relationship. My grandfather passed away many years ago, and I was envious of my grandfather and father's relationship.
Right.
And I always thought, like, could I ever have that same relationship? Because I mean, they were just 2 peas in a pot. You know what I mean? Just
best of friends,
enjoying a beer, best of friends, having a great time. You know what I mean? And it's just longing for that connection and trying to have that connection with my father. Right now, because of COVID-19, I can't have that connection, but I go check in on him. We talk wrestling. We try to watch some WWE together.
Awesome.
So this is what your song has done to me all day, because I've been listening to it all day. and it's just an amazing situation, an amazing story that you've told.
Well, thank you again. And as a matter of fact, it's funny because when I first wrote this song, I actually couldn't believe I wrote it, and I listened to it a few hundred times myself. And this song is old. Actually, I wrote it about 12 years ago.
Wow.
So yeah, so it's old. It's an old song, and so, and it's funny because I was actually gonna give it to Fred. Now that you mentioned Fred, he was
See,
he was
if you,
originally, yeah.
if you say Beetlejuice 3 times, he shows up.
Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, there he is.
See,
Hey guys.
it happens. Joining us right now is AJ Cardona. I know him as Fred Nice, vocal image.
That's right.
1/3 or 1/2, depending on your iteration or your favorite iteration. 1/5, 1/6. That's a story for another day. But AJ, the story of this amazing song is also a story within itself, because it took 12 years for it to be produced.
It did.
And then it took another year of someone taking a hiatus, and not knowing that the song was released, and for a couple of weeks now, and just out of nowhere it shows up.
It did. As a matter of fact, it's funny because we looked at the release date, and I was frantically texting Fred. I was like, Fred, what is going on? I called him. He was on the phone with his boss, and I was like, I don't know what's going on here. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, it completely took us by surprise, right, Fred?
I had no idea, and I did not know what Rudy was talking about. I thought he was messing around with me for a second, but then he sent me the link, and I was like, I was taken aback at first.
Yeah.
I'm very happy that the song is finally out.
Yeah, me.
Jose, I've had this song not for 1 year. I've had this song for 2 years,
Wow.
sitting there in the back burner, and I've heard that song a million times, and I've heard it so many times that I can tell you that the 3 releases that are out now are slightly different than the 3 that I have on my computer.
Wow.
So there was some work done to it, very subtle, but when you listen to it 1,006 times like I did, I catch it really fast.
Definitely.
I just can you share a little bit of why the song just appeared out of nowhere? You're Reza Sharp Records in the States, but there's another part of Reza Sharp, and that is your partner.
International, correct.
Yeah, so it's really a complicated story that doesn't really have an answer. Sasan and I, we've been working together since 2011. I consider him friend. I consider him family. He has spent 2 summers in my house. You know what I'm saying? So our relationship goes beyond just the freestyle music. We became friends.
Right.
I talked to him through everything, through anything he was going through in life, and vice versa. But one day he disappeared, and the short story, Jose, is that I have no idea why. You know me, I don't rub anybody the wrong way.
Right.
I don't say the wrong things, at least not long term. So, he disappeared, and I was very concerned. And I was talking to Rudy, talking to my wife, talking to Angel. I'm like, I have no idea what this guy is. As a matter of fact, he had reached out to me on my 8th year anniversary to wish me and my wife a happy anniversary, and I have that text still. And
Right.
that was the last time that we conversated. So,
And that
to
was
tell
2
you the
years
truth,
ago.
that was 2 years ago. Yeah. No, I'm sorry, not 2 years ago. That was just. It's been a little bit over a year, but still long enough. The song has been with us for over 2 years, but his absence was about a year, going more than a year now.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because you don't want to think negatively, but he's in Germany,
Right.
and I'm in Connecticut, right? So I couldn't get in contact with him. I was reaching out to his family, to his friends. You can imagine that I was fearing the worst.
Right.
So if people don't know, Sasan is German and he's also Iranian. So
Right.
he goes back and forth between the 2 countries to visit family and whatnot. And there's a lot of political turmoil and war going on in Iran. And I really, really, really became afraid that something happened. So right now we know he's okay.
Yes. And it appears so. He released the song November 20th, and again, it's been out for a little while. How did you notice, Rudy, that the song was out?
It's so funny because I actually got a text from Sunny Reyes, Miguel Reyes' wife. she texted me, and she said something about Rudy, I'm walking away, and something to that effect. And I was like, what are you talking about? No, completely. I was thrown aside. I was like, I have no idea what he's talking about. The next morning at 7:30 in the morning, I get a text from Miguel, and he's like, "Hey man, I'm so glad you finally decided to release that song." That because Miguel also knows the song. I mean, Miguel and I are really really close friends, and so he's known about this song ever since I originally wrote it. And so, so he was like, "Man, I'm so glad that you finally decided to release the song." And I was like, "What are you talking about, bud?" Like, I haven't done absolutely nothing. And so I thought that perhaps it was, a DJ, because obviously I've shared it with a couple of DJs for them to listen that
Right.
are close friends of mine, and I thought maybe they had played it somewhere, and I was about to like go off like, hey man,
Right.
we're supposed to show that to the world. Like, it wasn't. I mean, I'll do like a rendition myself at home, but I'm not actually trying to show the actual track. I've only played it 3 times in public, and
Right.
one of those times you heard it, Jose.
Yeah, yeah, and you were apologizing to me, and I'm like, what are you apologizing for? I'm like, I bought it immediately. It's amazing, and you're like, but yeah, you're supposed to have the exclusive. I'm like, don't
Jose.
worry about it.
Matter of fact, I had already, and Fred, you can attest to that.
Yeah.
We had already made up our minds that you were going to be the one to release the song. So it was just all of our plans just went out the wayside with the song.
Thank you, Sasan, wherever you are.
Yes, we missed Sasan, and we hope that he's okay. We hope that he makes a quick return, and we're here, man. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, we're here. We're still friends. We're still family. We still want to work together. And even though there is a conversation that needs to happen amongst us,
Yes.
it doesn't mean that we're going to lose friendship, and it doesn't mean that we're going to lose love for each other. That much.
It wouldn't be freestyle if it didn't have like a unique story, right? It wouldn't be freestyle if out of nowhere one of the participants disappeared for a year, and then out of nowhere the song is released, and you're
Right.
wondering how did that happen. Maybe he didn't have Wi-Fi. I don't know, but
I doubt that.
or maybe he I know he's a technician and a master at technology. But again, we wish Sasan. I call him Sasan EDA.
Yeah.
I call him Sasan EDA as a term of endearment. I hope that he is in good health, and I hope he does come back and share some of the stories and tell us how he disappeared for a year, but then released a song, and then it looks like he disappeared again, right?
We haven't. I've reached out to him a few times already, trying to get him. I'm like, Sasan, listen, no matter what happens, just come back, man. Just just send us a message. Let me know you're okay. Let us know you're fine, dude. Because number one, first and foremost, we want to make sure he's okay,
Right.
and that's the most important thing. Honestly, everything else is secondary. As long as he's okay, and as long as he's alive and he's doing well, those are the things that we want to make sure that we have in our minds. Because honestly, we have been very. I mean, and I especially Fred, because he's known him longer. So we have both been very nervous for him. So we just want to make sure he's okay. So San, if you're listening, bro, come home. Stop playing.
Fred is looking really mean in the camera right now. He's like, "You better call me." Those are subliminal messages he's sending right now. Or he's watching a basketball game, right, Coach?
Big time.
No. I turned that away. I turned that away. No, just like Rudy said, I just want to make sure he's all right, and we do have to have a conversation.
We do.
It's unfair, disappearing without communication, and it has nothing to do with the music. Even though he's a great producer and his music is dope, it has a lot more to do with our friendship. And I was just worried about him, but he popped out. He released the music. That means that he's making his way back, and we just have to wait and see.
Hopefully so.
Now, what else is in store from your label, stateside? What do you have cooking up? Because I went to the AJ Cardona studios, the Reza Sharp studios in Connecticut, and there's a lot of stuff being shown to me. I didn't leave with any finished product. I didn't leave with my USB full of music. So what's in store?
Just still a lot of work in progress. We got some Rudy stuff still in the works, but
yeah,
it's funny though. Now that stuff has to wait a little bit while we let this song rock, right?
Right.
And I'm working with Angel on a lot of different things. So, I do a lot of behind the scenes stuff with him, and much like you, he'll come to me for some feedback on his mixes and stuff. So, I enjoy that part of it. I'm producing, I'm writing, but I'm just keeping everything to myself. Not ready to do anything just yet. 2020 has been a rough year as it is.
Yes,
I mean, for the music, it's been dope. You know, it's been really good. But
absolutely.
everything else has been kind of horrible. Everything else has been kind of horrible. So I figure that 2021 is a good time to release some kind of music. I just got to figure out which song it is. I've written like 10.
Well, we wish you the best of luck with that. But Rudy, I mean, you have a great pedigree that follows you. I always think that you can't outdo yourself. And I remember listening to your song on NSR Volume Number 2, "I Only Want You."
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, this is really good. And then you just kept on,
Building.
topping yourself. You did release an older track, "Time."
Yep.
On the Freestyle Parade series.
That's right.
But for me, your greatest accomplishment until now is the Strings of My Heart.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Great song.
That song to me is it just takes me somewhere. It takes me to another world. It's your voice, the guitar, just everything that you say in it. The way that Sasan maneuvers the beat, not to overpower your voice. Talk to me a little bit about that song with this group of people that you've trusted to capture your sound.
Well, first of all, I mean the biggest amount of the success that the song has had has come from Fred and Sasan. Honestly, when I first started just writing titles, and one day Sasan he's like, man, I got this music production, and he sends me this music production, and Fred and I were already kind of talking about what the next project was going to be after Without You,
Right.
So. Fred is like, yeah, you know what, Sasan's got this thing, and Sasan's like, yeah, I'll send it to you, and he sends it to me, and I had already started writing Strings of My Heart, and the only thing that I had started with was the chant, was the keep pulling, remember Fred? Keep pulling,
Yeah.
pulling the strings of my heart, so I was just kind of coming up with the idea, and then when I get this music, all of a sudden the words just take shape, you know what I mean? Cause I was lost like a sailor in a starless night, and you came and made my world regain its light. It just kind of came. It just kind of came out, and the funny thing is that I wrote that song for both my wife and my son. Yeah, so it was just one thing after another. So Strings of My Heart is definitely one of my greatest written songs. I absolutely love that song, and I love
Great song.
I have great pleasure in giving Fred Nice a hard time when he releases music, and Reza Sharp and anybody. But when I heard that, there's nothing that I could have said to encapsulate what I felt when I first heard that song. And you're there. These stories are being told, but there's this hard beat, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes people only listen to the production part of it, right? But for me, I love lyrics, and I love harmonies, and I love the way vocals sound. And to me, it's just that perfect song. And your voice just comes out and just grabs you, takes you on a ride, and it's like the best 4 minutes. So I tell people, songs like these are the ones that we need to have in the forefront. Songs like "Walking Away" and songs like "Strings of My Heart." I mean, and the first time that I got a sample of what you were made of, Rudy, was a remix that I got on a bootleg CD from like 15 years ago. You did something for Arlene. It was the demo for a song that she did, and it said Rudy to Rudy Fausto mix, and I'm like, so I just remember that that I first.
Lady?
I'm sorry, one more time.
Was it Coral for Sexy Lady that I had produced?
No, it was. I believe it was for Arlene. Arlene. It was. I think it was the Band of Gold.
Yes.
The Band of Gold. Now that I think of the title, so that's the first time, and it's funny though because I was never released, right? And then they released it, but they never released your mix, and I'm like, how could they not release that mix?
Well, I appreciate that, man. As a matter of fact, the funny thing is that Tim Spinning Schomer is the man who connected me with Arlene at the time. And Julio Rodriguez, the lead singer from Law, happens to be my best friend and son's godfather, and I mean, we've been best friends forever and ever. He helped me produce that song, but he didn't want to take any credit, so I'm taking credit.
That's great. It's that the Chicago connection. I love that. So big shout outs going to Shomer, Tim Spinning Shomer, the GOAT. Shout outs going out to Julio from Love and Wisdom, LAW. And we talk about how Chicago influences Connecticut, and you could ask Fred himself, what is Love and Wisdom? These guys could just not stop talking about them, Fred and Angel Mena. It was either Love and Wisdom or Pain. The two groups that these guys were like, no, we got to come up with something better than them, and you
always
and back then it was cassettes, right? So they're rewinding the cassette, playing the cassette, rewinding the cassette. Angel Mena had a cassette player that only did forward; it didn't do rewind. So we had to drive 3 or 4 miles so we can forward the song on the other side, so we can play the song over again and just cruise down Connecticut, New Britain Avenue. But these are the influences. Chicago is a big influence on Connecticut and New England, and so is the sound and the writing. So I always think that we owe a debt of gratitude. And I could go into my closet right now and pull out all the DJ International records.
Oh my God!
All the Chicago 12-inch records that I have, which I had to really pull and tug and go to different venues to get these 12-inch records. But thank God for the Music Center, and thank God for Mr. Musica in Connecticut, because if not, man, I would have never gotten those 12-inch records.
No, those were very much a Chicago, based, brand. So we had them everywhere out here. So you can easily get your hands on Desire, on Speed Rock.
Speed Rock was my. I'm telling you right now, Speed Rock. I Want You Back. I Need Your Love. All those songs, man. I tell you right now, if I were to go to Chicago, I would want to go to a 12-inch record shop so I can buy these in triplicates, or find these songs that Shomer plays one at a time where I've never gotten those records. I know that we were talking about that here last week, how he's going to different record shops and finding stuff that he never played. I want to go to Chicago just to go shopping with him so I can get some of the stuff that he plays that I never got.
That would be. Matter of fact, I'll let you know. From DJ International, not too long ago, we lost a legend here in Chicago. We lost Benji Espinosa. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Benji.
Yes, of course, one of the founders.
Yes, one of the founders of DJ International. So we lost Benji, and he left an entire museum worth of vinyl.
You hear me?
Yeah.
You.
So from look, I'm just letting you know. It appears as though his wife is right now auctioning some of that stuff. So you might want to look into that. So if
that's history right there.
It is. It's totally history. I mean, hopefully they'll put most of his records in Hollywood in his museum. He's got house music.
1 second, Rudy. Right now, Fred looks like old grandpa watching porn right now. Like he's fiddling with the camera. You know what I mean? Like he's putting it close to his face. So, Fred, are you okay? Do you need a minute?
He's not falling asleep, is he?
I don't know what he's doing. He's fiddling with his equipment, but it doesn't look too positive on this side over here. I think he's playing with the strings of his heart.
Of his heart.
Yeah. See, you took the punt. Shout out going out to Caroline, Louis Marte, Marilyn Moreno, also Elizabeth. Shout outs going to Gina, all in the chat room, along with Bernardo Sierra, the man behind all the great artwork. Eric Christian, Sal Medina, Matt Odell, Marilyn Torres. Speaking of songs with a story, I mean, look at the Marilyn Torres record. Another story being told in a freestyle sense of a song. Loved it.
In exchange for what happens to be my favorite freestyle.
Wow, that's amazing.
I love it. Love it.
And I can't wait to get back to 2021 so I can start playing some of this new music, like Walking Away and in exchange for what. There are remixes coming.
Yes.
And so I can't wait to see all these different new remixes to the song.
Yeah, I can't wait.
So Fred is getting positioned. I had to mute him for a second.
Yeah, that's a good idea because he looks like he's about to fall asleep.
Are
Can
you
you
okay?
guys hear me?
How many fingers am I holding up?
I can't hear.
You can't hear? Try to leave and come back.
So get out and come back.
That was Fred Nice. Thank goodness he's gone. He was fiddling around like I'm like, what is he doing? You could put an inappropriate tagline on his video. But big shout out going to Fred Nice, AJ Cardona.
He was doing the Rudy Giuliani in the hotel room.
Yes, that's exactly what he was doing. But I want to focus on your inspiration for music.
Yes.
What inspires you? Who inspires you?
Okay, so now when it comes to music as a whole, I've always been a big John Cicada fan. From his original stuff, Just Another Day and I'm Free, happens to be one of my favorite songs. I used to actually practice vocals with I'm Free, and so vocally he was always the guy. And if I don't know if you can kind of hear it, but I try to hit some of those notes that he hits, you know what I mean? Because he's my biggest inspiration. And of course, after that would be George. And
I've seen you do honor to both of your idols, and I can see the John Cicada influence. I can hear it too, especially when there was a time where freestyle shows were implementing songs by John Cicada into the mix, and they were promoting him like he was a freestyle artist, even though the beats per minute were not as fast as a freestyle song.
No,
Chicago didn't care, New England didn't care.
Yeah, it was a mid tempo, but the melody and the vocal quality that was coming out of John Cicada is really what made it come together. I mean, if you think about it, You're My One and Only True Love, right? You're my one and only. That was a mid tempo, and people freestyle. You know what I mean?
That's why I always get on people that are always criticizing like progressive freestyle or slow tempo freestyle, and they're like, "That's not freestyle." I'm like, "Lanier, Sending All My Love." All right, sit down and be quiet.
I mean that was a hit,
Absolutely.
It was considered and it was well welcomed in the freestyle genre, at least here in Chicago it was.
Yeah, and so in New England, it's the same thing. But it's just that people have selective taste when it comes to certain things. They just want to be negative for the sake of being negative, right?
Exactly.
Let's see if Johnny Fiddles is going to be okay right now, coming on camera with us. Once again, we welcome back AJ Cardona, Fred Nice, the Vocal Image founder. And are you back with us, Fred?
I don't think he can hear us.
You have dial-up, sir.
He has AOL.
Yeah, I think he thinks he's at MySpace right now.
I don't think Fred can hear us.
No, that's exactly why I'm taking the advantage right now of saying whatever I want, right? So we're gonna hide Fred for a minute until we can get him back on. So George Lamont has been a big inspiration to you. I see you do some of his songs, and I seen you pay homage to him.
Mm-hmm.
Who would you like to collaborate with on a song?
Now, out of anybody, or does it have
You choose, sir.
Okay. Truthfully, I would love to do a song with Mark Anthony.
Perfect. It'll be like a battle of the vocals, right?
Yeah.
Singing at each other, you know what I mean?
But
in the freestyle community, who would you like to do a collaboration with?
Well, a few people actually, but truthfully, at this point in time, I'm trying to think. First of all, I think I'd really like to do something with Louis Marte.
Oh, good.
I would.
He came out with some 1987 remixes with DJ Merc One.
Yes.
Put him right on the map.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, Louis Marte is a very, very talented man that I feel that sometimes he's underrated by some people. And I got to tell you, me personally, I appreciate everything that Louis Marte does.
Yeah, I told him that at one time he had been featured in a compilation from Germany. And out of all the songs that were on that compilation, he was the best one on the compilation. And that because he had his hands all over it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody else just left it to the people to do whatever.
Right.
And then when you heard it, it was like this offbeat mess with Planet Rock. and then you hear Louis Marte's song, and it's like, oh, okay, that's good. That's an excellent song. So, and he's been working hard to prove himself to be,
Yep.
be the main attraction and a person that,
Yes.
should be featured. And he stated today in one of his posts that he may not be the loudest person in the room, or that he may not be trying all these gimmicks that people are trying these days, but that he's, just trying to prove to the community that he's an artist that's here to stay. So I do commend him for that. He is on my top 40 freestyle songs of 2020, which debuts this up and coming Friday at 10 o'clock on 90.7 FM, WTCC in Western Massachusetts and Northern Connecticut, and also debuts at the same time, 7 Pacific time at Rhythm 105.9 FM. So we're going to have the first part of 4. We're going to count 40 to 31, and we're going to try to get to that number 1 spot. And it's like I tell people every year, it's not who was number 1, it's who's on the countdown for the longest.
All that matters.
And what is looking right now is going to be like a surprise number 1 song if it continues that way. Right now, we're taking bonus points from the audience that listens to the show. So you out there who's watching this, you can go to the CPR's Clubhouse podcast page on Facebook, and you can award points to your favorite song. So there's a list of the songs that we promoted in 2020, and you choose your top 3. The number 3 spot gets 1 point, the number 2 spot gets 2 points, and the number 1 spot gets 3 points. So Rudy, I welcome you to come and vote as well.
Thank you.
And that'll be great for you to share your top 3. Last week I had a great time sharing my top 10 with Tim Spinning Schomer, Cliff Potts, and Cheryl Rodriguez.
Sounds good. And it looks like Fred can actually hear us now.
I hope so.
I think so.
Finally, I can hear you guys. Yes.
Oh, I thought you were taking a mugshot or a selfie, because that's the selfie stand, right? He's doing the selfie thing.
No.
It's a
It's all about the lighting.
Yeah, it's funny. I invited Angel Bena on here because I wanted to have vocal image, and I know that he was working on a remix for this song as well, and he's going to take his time to come in here. I see how it is.
Nonetheless, we still love him.
Of course,
well, we try.
So I apologize. Yeah.
So, Rudy, you stated you had a treat for the people that are watching you right now. You were going to do a part of the song for us.
Sure.
I can't wait.
Well, I appreciate that. As a matter of fact, yeah, what it is that, I decided that I wanted to do a live version of Walking Away for you guys, and so I have my my Casio that I bought from a thrift store connected to this thing, my thrift store Casio, which I absolutely love. And so I'm going to go ahead and just start playing something for you guys. It goes something like this. First of all, I want to thank all the fans out there. You guys are incredibly phenomenal. Thank you so much for tuning in to listen to us over here with Mr. CPR Jose Ortiz. Thank you for having me, by the way. I appreciate it. You're lovely people. You're absolutely lovely, you know. A little something like this. I kissed her lips in the dark one last time, and I left her side. All that I left behind was a note telling her goodbye, and I ran 'cause my fear was too strong to avoid and to be. I was standing to find out that this. Wait a minute, I just completely messed up my own song, man.
Hey, listen, we're live. You can start all over again. The audience is not going to mind. Thank you to everyone joining us right now on Facebook Live. Don't worry about the counter on the upper left-hand side. Shout outs going out to everybody on YouTube. We're just going to go with this as we go with this. Please start again. Encore, encore, encore.
gonna get this right. Okay, we're gonna get this right. Okay,
Wrote a song about it. Here
There
we
we
go.
right? I kissed her lips in the dark one last time, then I left her side. All that I left behind was a note telling her goodbye. So I ran, cause my fear was too strong to avoid, and it got the best of me. I was scared that the responsibility of a family was too much for me. It read, I'm walking away, my love. It's for us, my love. I can't
was too
keep
much for me.
it. So I'm walking away, my love. Must let you go, my love. So please just understand that I'm walking away. I'm walking away. I'm walking away. I'm walking away. It's been so long since my nightmares started. These past years have made me a man. I beg my girl that we get back together and let me make things right again. She said, but I moved on since you've been gone. You weren't here to help me carry on. We've already missed so much. There's no way to get up. So that's why I gotta let you go. She said, I'm walking away, my love. It's for the best, my love. You can't be the man I need you to be. So I'm walking away, my love. I must let you go, my love. So please just understand that I'm walking away. I'm walking away. I'm walking away. I'm walking away. The hard part. You want me to finish this or? A few more years passed by and I ran into this man. I noticed he looked like me, so I stopped to shake his hand. As we stood there, he said that he knew that one day he and I were meant to meet. I was stunned to find out that this man was my son. As he watched me unforgivably, he said, I'm walking away from you, just like you did with me. Cause I'm twice the man that you'll ever be. So I'm walking away from you and all of the pain you caused. This is how it has to be. So I'm walking away. 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 I'm walking away.
You know, if I had an applause button, you would be feeling it right now, right? Thank you so much. I got a little knot in my throat. The last part with the father and son meeting, it's the part that gets me. It's the part where the son is telling the father, like, you're going to learn from your mistake.
Yeah.
You walked away from me before. Now I'm going to walk away from you, you know?
That's right. You know, and so that's always the hardest part for me too. And I won't lie to you that when I first wrote the song, I was in tears. It's hard to get through it.
I loved it. And for those of you out there, I mean, this is something that we're doing live. Fred tried to harmonize with you. I had to mute him because of the fact that you're not in sync in the time frame. He has dial up. You have, the high speed.
Yes.
internet. And so the timing is not there. But
Right.
and I didn't get rid of him on purpose. He's just having connection issues.
Sure.
But and also you're trying to sing this song. It's not a concert. Is not peak to be a concert.
Right.
But it's an amazing song.
Thank you.
And I can't wait to promote it for 2021.
Definitely.
At the beginning of this year, you released another song, "A Fool for Your Love."
Yeah.
And I really felt that people ignored it. Like it was something that you put out, and then people completely ignored. It lasted a few weeks in January, and then it was like
Gone.
and are you concerned with how fast people forget music, forget our songs, freestyle, in especially the community being the way that it is?
Yeah.
The fact that you put out quality music, but some people just not pay attention to it.
Well, you know what? Yeah. It's my concern always because we put in so much work. Like we were just talking in the beginning of this conversation. We have had this song in the works for 2 years, and so it took us. I mean, since July of last year was the last time that we had any communication with Sasan. Actually, it was July 17th, I believe, was the last time that we had any communication with him, and so to like not be able.
So we're going to lose him too for a moment.
It's
go ahead. You're back.
so much work, and then not be able to release the song. It was definitely devastating. And then on top of that, when the song's out there for 2 or 3 months, and then all of a sudden it loses flavor, it really makes you think, man, we put a lot of heart and soul into the song, and you would have thought that it would have at least lasted at least 6 months.
Right.
I mean, many songs do. I mean, you listen right now, and they're still playing 24 Karat, Love by Bruno Mars.
Right.
He's still getting that love on the radio, and it's been years since he released that song, and so you would want the shelf life on our songs to be a little longer than they are, definitely.
Yeah, it appears that it just lasts 3 months. The friendships last 3 months. The songs last 3 months. It's something that I'm gonna try to stop in 2021 because again. There were songs at the beginning of the year that people ignored, and your song was one of them. And so I know that I was being told that you were going to revisit it, hopefully, in the future. So I hope that you do, so we can bring it back up. But
thank you.
It's kind of hard. It's going to be kind of hard to top this one because I didn't think that you could top "Strings of My Heart," but now you're topping it with "Walking Away," and so you're going to have to come up with more heat.
Yeah, well, definitely. And right now, I can tell you that Josh, JW, and myself, we actually have a little something cooking up in the background. Of course, with Fred and everybody, we're all kind of working together. And so we're doing a little collaboration. And we have a song called "Eternal Flame" that that I wrote, and that Josh and I have a surprise producer that I cannot tell you who it is. But
you can write it on a piece of paper and just put it up like this and read it.
Yeah, there would be cheating still, but I can tell you right now that when the time is right, we will release who that name is of that producer. But he is someone who is standing by me 100% right now and believes in the song, really, really, really likes Eternal Flame. And so I do believe that when you hear Eternal Flame, you're probably going to like it as well. It's a little different. We decided to go a little different. And, I'm not going to get into too much detail because I don't want to give it away. But Josh and Di, we came up with this really cool concept for the song. And so now it's just a matter. I mean, hey, if Sasan happens to pop up somewhere, we're going to need a for it.
Well, I'm gonna reinvigorate our show and try to focus on people that are not trying to steal the limelight and people that are being negative on social media all the time. I know that you bring a lot of positivity to the table, and you've been doing that for a while. And I just want to focus on these type of artists for 2021. And you're one of them that I want to continue to play. This "Walking Away" song should be played for the next 6 months. And it should be played every week, everywhere. The same thing with Marilyn Torres,
Yes.
In Exchange for What. There's a song by Jay Mazur, "All Through the Night," that people ignored. Now there's a remix. They need to put that into their playlist. There's a lot of people that are getting cuts. I'm not sure why, because they're not as talented as the 3 artists that I just mentioned. But This is the conversation you may not want to get into because people may feel that it's negative. But the point that I'm trying to make is that we can't ignore talent for, the fodder that's always on social media, where those people get the attention. And we know for a fact they have no talent. And you can hear that they don't have no talent, but we still give them our attention.
Right, and as a matter of fact, I'm one of the ones that is, listen, I do not spread negativity, and thank you so much for the recognition there. But I really do try to stay positive as much as possible, so I don't try to promote negativity. But I will say this, man, if you're just playing Planet Rock and you're putting it in your songs, the boom chi boom just gotta go, man. Like, I'm sorry, this is a different age, and we have to grow out of that shell that we've been living in for so long, because truthfully we need to focus on the youth wanting to be a part of this movement.
Right.
And for as long as we keep sounding like we're 60-year-old men, well, guess what, they're not going to want to be a part of it. And so we need to revamp the sound and make it a little bit more modern, because let's face it, man, when we die, the music dies.
Absolutely. Again, it's you sound like me. Like, people are like, oh, his CPR paid him to say that. But I do believe, and I've been saying this for 10 years, ever since I've come onto Facebook, and that we need to do progressive freestyle. We need to do storytelling. I can't believe that, at the end of the year, we got 2 great songs, In Exchange for What and Walking Away, where they're telling stories. One is a marital story. One is a story about a father, a son, and his former spouse.
Yep.
And those are great stories to tell, and things that we need to do for the future. And so, I commend you, and I keep bunching you with Marilyn Torres, but I'm doing that because of the fact that I'm giving the example of storytelling and writing. AJ Cardona is well known for that. Sometimes he gets really, really deep in his storytelling, where at one time there was a song that came out of something that he had produced that had to do with suicide. It was a little too heavy. I believe that he had either wrote it or produced it, or both, for another artist. But these are things that we can tackle and put a nice beat around it. But Sasan did a great job with Walking Away.
He did, and just so you know too, that originally I'm the one who, so I played all the piano parts on that song originally.
Right.
Oh, so it was just nice to see what my little piano part on there turned into with Sasan, because Sasan took my little idea and blew it up. You know what I mean? So you're right. His production really, really made the song stand out.
Mr. Engineer, always trying to find a way.
Yep, definitely. So that's exactly that. So the biggest advice that I have for anyone out there putting on music right now is just make sure that you have a wonderful engineer and someone who is honest. Because sometimes honesty can be mistaken for negativity, and it's not. We're just being honest. You know what I mean? We need to be honest with people. We need to tell them what's going on, and make sure that they understand fully that the reason why you're saying this is because you want them to succeed with their product.
I just have to give Louis Marte feedback today on something that he asked me 3 weeks ago, because we mended our fences, and and this is the second time that I use this example. I'm afraid to give him feedback on the song, not because it's bad, because some of you have heard it already. It's because I don't want to ruin the peace that we have right now between each other. You know what I mean? And so I don't want to make him the point of the conversation. But I have been seen as negative because I give this feedback, and I've had conversations with artists that I never thought that I would have conversations with. Right. But I always talk about how I can give the old school generation, the kings and queens of this music, feedback, and they will take it and they will fix whatever I tell them that is incorrect, right?
Right.
But if I tell a new artist that their song is bad or that it needs fixing, I get that 2 hours of people going on lives talking negative about me and how awful I am and getting personal and stuff. And I'm like, I could do. I mean, and I get those to this day. It's been like this for 15 years,
Right.
From the wig wearer guy from 15 years ago to the guy that hit me up today after Louis Marte asking for feedback. And, they start cursing at you and stuff. And I'm like, oh, I got to block you. See you later. Have a good day.
Right. Exactly. And it's funny because I've known you since 2011, since we did Time, and I came on your show at that time, you know,
Yes.
when Willie Valentine took a chance on me. And so, you know, and you've always been like straight up with me. Like I'll send you stuff and you'll be like, Rudy, I don't know about this. Or Rudy, this sounds good. You know, I mean, that sort of thing. And as a matter of fact, I won't forget it. Where you told me one day, you said, you're like, Rudy, you're so much better than this. You really need to make sure that whatever you put up is you, not what someone else expects of you. And I could have easily just, you know, been like, oh man, screw this guy. You know what I mean? But I didn't do that. That just wasn't what was what you know what you were meaning to say. What you were meaning to say is truthfully is that I'm a gifted artist and that I should consider myself a gifted artist and not just bow down to anything, you
Right.
know, and sell myself short. And that's exactly what you were saying to me. So I fully understood that. You know, so I can see where some people would take that offensively, but me personally, I've had nothing but positive experiences with you, Jose. You've always been straight up with me, and you've always, you know, you've made sure that whatever spotlight I'm under, that I shine the right way. You know what I mean? And for that,
Appreciate your words.
I appreciate you for that. I really do.
And to me, you know, you got to be the king of Chicago. You got the best voice right now. You know what I mean? I want to, you know, and you don't have to answer. You don't have to agree.
Sure.
I just know. I just feel that there are people right now that have gotten the spotlight in 2020
Yeah.
that need not the spotlight. They don't need to be shined on at all. Like Gennaro said 2 weeks ago on the show, there are people that are actually talented that could, you know, sing the Nilex Yellow Pages. That is something they used to send back in the day, where it had everybody's phone numbers for you know, school people.
Right.
But you could sing, you know, the back of a milk carton or whatever, and you could make it sound good. And you have, because I've seen some of the things that you've done, like all the singing that you've done. And so, you know, for 2021, I'm refocusing on making sure that people with talent have a voice. And so, since right now I'm on 2 FM radio stations, I have a podcast, and I'm going to be added to another radio station soon.
Dope.
That the people that have the voices, the people that have the talent, are brought to the forefront. And that's what I want out of this music. And the fact that you gave me this song right here, that I mean, January, February, March, April, May, June, 6 months of this song. People are going to get tired of me playing it, but we have to continue promoting it, because people always say on social media that we're talking to the same audience. I beg to differ. We are not talking to the same audience.
Definitely not.
The audience on social media is different than the audience that I speak to. And even though I do speak to the social media people, right, and I speak to the people that watch this live or that listen to my podcast, we have a lot of people that are not on social media that love freestyle, that don't want to get involved in any of the shenanigans, that listen to music and appreciate good quality freestyle music. So those are the people that I want to speak to. I want to capture those people.
Well, I can certainly appreciate that, and I'm actually flattered that you would even include me in that, because, you know, for me being, I mean, I'm almost 48 here, and you know, I'm gonna give you a quick story here, real quick, before we end it, and that is that I don't know if you knew this, but originally I was actually supposed to be in law, the group law. And you know, so we had already kind of gone through the whole thing, but then there was a management change, and the manager that they got decided that it would be a better idea to just keep them two and keep me out,
Right.
which is fine. You know what I mean? It was totally fine. But he said something to me one day when we were sitting in his car and we were waiting for Julio to come out. You know, because I was always with Julio. He always had me with me. He's like, dude, no matter what happens, you're still part of this group. And I was awesome. And so he looked at me and he said, look, man, I just want you to know that you are never, ever going to be a lead singer. You will forever be a backup singer. I just want you to know that. And he said that to me, like, dead to my face, you know? And I was like, first of all, it wasn't even warranted, because I wasn't being a jerk to the guy. But maybe he thought that by me hanging around, I was trying to be part of this group. But it you know, it really, like, it punched me in the gut. And so for a long time, I didn't really do anything. And the reason why I bring up in my age is because, well, now in the middle of my life, I'm finally being able to put out this music, you know. And so to be able to hear someone like yourself, who has been listening to, promoting, and moving forward so many artists for so many years, to be able to say that to me, that's incredibly flattering.
And it's all in the, listen, I listened to a snippet of the song today, and it was like 5:59 in the morning.
Yeah.
I was like, what is this? and I went directly to iTunes and I bought it and I listened to. I'm like, wow! And so you got me, hook, line, you got me. You know what I mean? Just immediately. And so again, and it's easy because you have talent and because I wrote all your songs that I promoted, right?
Yes.
So we have a list here of the songs that we went to 2012 with Time.
Yes.
I Only Want You 2013.
Yes.
Without You There's No Tomorrow 2017.
Yep.
You even released Fool for Your Love.
Yes.
Which many people should have paid more attention to, but we're gonna revisit that one, right? And then you got Strings of My Heart. Like you can't. There's no way you can find that is a perfect 10 song, right? And now you match that perfect 10 song with this story of Walking Away. See, I got 10 plus right here, right? So these are the songs that you've put out, and every time it's like you're trying to top yourself, and it's crescendo, and that's what I want out of artists. That's what I want. I mean, that's why George Anthony and every time I mention his name, people are like, "Oh, you're Team GA," whatever. But it's when George Anthony puts out a song, he tries to top himself, right?
He does.
This year he went to the well 3 times. He did All the Way, right? The song is happy and peppy. And then he did You Should Have Told Me solo version. And then he came back and added a Dream Girl in there.
That's right.
So and so he tries to top whatever he did in 2015 with Nothing Like Your Love, that album. And so the same thing I see with you. It's like, I'm telling you, it took seconds for me to be like, I'm buying this right now. And for a second I was mad, like, why didn't I get this song sooner? Because I saw November 20th the release, and I'm like, what? But I realized the story, and I remember what had happened with
right
at Reza Sharp Society EDA.
Felt the same way I felt that morning. Why didn't I know this?
That's crazy.
I have this, yeah. So, well, at the end of the day, like I said, you were supposed to break it out. So this is kind of like the breakout. You know what I mean? Because your show is the first one I've appeared since the song came out. So, or since we brought it up, the surface.
So one of the rules that I've come to terms with is that for about 6 years I was named Mr. Exclusive, right?
Yep.
And what I realized, though, even though I was having fun breaking new music, and even though I was having fun promoting good quality freestyle artists,
right.
The artists that were bringing the music to me first were being penalized by other shows. So, I want to make this public, and that is that anyone out there that would like to promote their song with me, I'm more than happy to do it. I'm more than happy to debut any good quality freestyle song, but you're not obligated to do that,
right?
Because of the fact that I don't want people to get, looked upon in a different manner because they gave me the exclusive. You know what I mean? And again, I am on 2 FM radio stations, soon to be on a 3rd.
Right.
And I do have a great podcast that's followed by many people, right?
Yep.
By thousands, the millions, I'm sorry, I'm doing a rock promo. And so all I want to do is promote good quality freestyle music, right?
Right.
And so I just don't want people to penalize artists who give me music first because they gave me music first. Because
the
aftermath of the inboxes that these companies get, these artists get, I've read some of the comments, and I'm like, man. So I just don't. I want to be fair. If you feel that going to Tim Spinning Shomer, the greatest of all time, is going to suit you best, then go to Tim Spinning Shomer.
Yep. As a matter, we've broken out 2 songs with Tim Shomer, and so that's the reason why you were supposed to be the one for this one, because you see, to us, it's this side is Tim, on that side it's you, and we wanted to make sure that we hit both sides evenly. And so, and I can tell you right now that if anybody's been penalized for having you being the person who broke out their music, look, personally, me, I look at it this way. We're putting out music. It's for everybody, and I'll put out music with the guys down there in Florida with like NTD and them. I'll put out music with them. I'll put out music with the guys down in Texas. I'll put out music with, someone in New York or here in Chicago or in California. I'll put out music with anybody first.
Right.
The thing is that, to me, I have to see where the support is coming from, and the support has always been coming from you and Tim on both of these areas. And then, of course, eventually I'm going to have to definitely hit up those boys down in Florida,
right.
I'll have to hit them up because they have also been promoting the heck out of me. And so, so hopefully it doesn't turn into something like that where people start hating on other people because they release their music with you first. Because truthfully, everybody should get a chance to do that, and we should be able to create this like system where it kind of spins around in different places. Because at the end of the day, Jose, our genre is that small.
Absolutely.
You know?
And that's what I say. If it's not bring you a heartache, give it to everybody on release date or the day before or whatever. But and if you still feel comfortable in coming here to CPR's Clubhouse to do it first, then hey, I'm more than welcome to put in that tagline, Mr. Exclusive. And it's not a tagline that I gave myself. That was given to me by Rob McCabe.
There you go.
5-6 years ago, and it's because every time that he came on my show, I had 2 to 3 new songs to play.
Right.
And listen, I know how to rotate music. I've been taught by Jesus the Juice Vasquez, the best in New England, or if it wasn't for him, there would be no freestyle in New England or in any area in this side, right? But he taught me how to promote good quality freestyle music. He talked about rotation. He talked about longevity. I give people the advice all the time, every year during the countdown at the end of the year, and that is make a plan of how and when you're going to release your music. Right. So if in January you're going to release a single, great, release that single, right? It'll play for 3 to 4 months. And then at the 4th or 5th month mark, do a George Anthony, do a feature or do a remix or something, so it could give the song longer life.
Yeah.
But also have a plan in place, merchandise, things that you would need to do to make a little money, out of the song or get the most bang for your buck.
That's right. Yeah, because the money that you get from like streams and online sales is, it'll get you, a cup of coffee and a couple of donuts.
Right.
To be honest, because again, nobody's buying our stuff by the millions.
Right.
And
there are some successes out there when it comes to streaming, but you want to get the most out of your song. So, my job for the next 6 months is to play Walking Away and to capture an audience member, a new one every week.
Yep.
Whether it be on 1, 2, or 3 radio stations, whether it be on the podcast, I just have to capture these people to promote good quality freestyle music. So that's my plan for 2021. Nothing different than I've done, for the last 25 years.
Right.
But just want to make sure that people know that I'm dedicated to promoting good quality freestyle music, and that's how it's going to be in the future. But let's get back to you before we have to close out the show. Yes. Big shout out going out to Bernardo Sierra, who's probably tired right now of doing everybody's artwork. I hope that he's just great. I love it. He did my logos. He did 2 logos, one for the talk show and one for the podcast and for the radio show. So shout outs go out to Bernardo Sierra. Shout outs go out to Mickey Cubby, who is Freestyle's unsung hero. He's an A&R for everyone. That's how you find out like who's releasing what.
That's right.
There are people that have blocked me, that I don't know that are releasing new music because I give them a bad review or whatever the case may be. I'm able to know whatever is brand new coming out because of Mickey Cubby. So shout out going out to him.
That's right.
But back to you, Rudy. I wanted to pass on a compliment from K7, who also listened to Walking Away and loved the song. K7, the frontman for TKA.
Yes.
And he talks about, making sure that we promote you on the radio show. Not that he tells me what to do. I just happen to agree with his,
with his advice,
with his review and advice. We should be promoting you, and I couldn't agree more. You have some great songs.
Thank you.
When are you going to put an album together of all the stuff that you've done?
I was reading your mind as you were thinking it. You know what? That is the show. That is the goal for 2021. The goal is to release an album, a full length. Obviously, because of the Sasan situation, I would really like to be able to close the door the way it opened with Sasan and Reza Sharp, but at the end of the day, if Sasan doesn't, surface again, or if we don't see him again, then Fred and I will continue to do this under his production, and so obviously I'm in need of a producer. You know what I mean? And so obviously I
Take
am.
your pick from all the up and comers, man. You have DJ
I'm
Marquand, you have Luis Marte and his, his production.
yes.
You have D Mike, of course, Jay Adams, Willie Valentine, Artie Rodriguez. Carlos Barrios. You can reach out to him. There's plenty of people that you can choose from.
Well, yeah, definitely. I mean,
Sorry, let me mention JW because he is helping you out.
yes, yes, and of course JW, he's my boy, and I'm gonna keep working with JW, and so more than likely, so at this point in time, I have a really good relationship with Josh, and so I really like him a lot, and so and I like his style. I think he's incredible, so yeah, I mean, obviously, the only reason why I haven't like reached out to someone like Carlos Barrios because I'm thinking, how is the flea gonna go ask the dog for permission to get on him? You know what I mean? I just I just don't feel I feel that if he wants to work with me, he's got the reach where all he has to do is, extend his hand and be like, Rudy, you down? I'm down. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that he should be the one coming up to me, but I'm just saying that I feel like it's not my place to ask someone like that because I just don't feel like I'm big enough for that. But if the opportunity ever came up, then I would absolutely love to work with him or Jay.
Don't make me ask on your behalf. All right, don't make me call him right now. We have a collect call from Rudy. Rudy. The collect call.
It's not from the state penitentiary, right?
I want you to know that 2021 is going to be your year.
Thank you.
And I want you to also know that you're very humble. You know what I mean? But
Thank you.
and I'm not asking you to be cocky. I'm just saying be present because of the fact that there are not many voices in this genre of music like yours.
Thank you.
And so I tell you, as a person that's been on the radio for many years, and
Sure.
I'm the current defending champion of the countdowns. I'm just kidding. You are, you're one of the best. You're Chicago's prodigal son, and you know what I mean. The fact that you and Julio from Love and Wisdom
Yes.
are best friends, that means that he's trying to just get on you about vocals and production and lyrics and all that stuff because that's what happens with iron, right? Iron sharpens iron, so that's a good friend to have.
Amen to that. Yeah, him and Jerry. So, Jerry is also a really good dude, and so I care for him very much as well. So yeah, and I'm pretty sure that he would be also willing to like throw some beats up together for me.
So let's close out the show. Let's do a couple questions here.
Sure.
What are you looking for in 2021 for Rudy Fausto?
Consistency. I definitely like to be able to consistently put out good stuff. As far as artistically is concerned, and I'm also trying to do my best to get my heart right, with a lot of different things, and so I want to make sure to be a little bit more welcoming to people, and I think that I mean, mind you, you could say right now that I'm pouring it thick, you know what I mean, but I'll be honest, like I just feel like sometimes points of views kind of go wrong with me, so I definitely, especially political ones. You've seen some of the stuff I put up, and so I want to make sure that I could be a little bit more welcoming. At the end of the day, I want to extend my hand to everybody out there, and whether we agree on everything or not, I just want to make sure that that I can stay humble amongst those people as well. So but professionally, definitely more consistency, and hopefully be able to keep putting up good stuff because at the end of the day, the fans deserve it.
If you had to pick one female to do a duet with, who would it be?
Marilyn Torres, without thinking twice.
Wow. What a story that would be, right?
Yes. I mean,
you could do an exchange for what? Walking away, like feature story there, and have a 12-minute song like an R. Kelly, in the closet type. You know what I mean? Like, you left when the kid was about to be born, and you try to come back. She's like, in exchange for what? She throws you out, calls the cops. And then when you're about to get bailed out, you come out, you meet your son. He's a police officer.
Yeah.
Whatever, let's make it happen.
I think it would be good. As a matter of fact, she's incredibly humble as well, and she's very talented. And so, and her husband's incredible. He's been, messaging me as well because he really, really enjoys the song. And so, so I mean, definitely Marilyn would be one of the people that I would absolutely love to work with in the female, area. And of course, there's always Jasmine Dennis. I love her, and and of course Rebecca. I'll work with Rebecca. I like Rebecca. She's funky. I like her.
Yes, the beats coming out of Dr. Javi right now from Connecticut.
Yes.
Talk about New England's best kept secret right there. That's a guy that can give you a hard beat. I've been sampling his beat for my intro for 3 years now. You know what I mean? Because he's just like that black and blue beat that he did a couple years back.
Yes.
Still stuck in my mind.
Yes, Javi's incredible, and so as a matter of fact, I should definitely, reach out to Javi so we can all put our hands and minds together, because putting together that team and incredible, obviously having Angel on that side too, and then having Fred and and then having all the ladies we discussed, and then of course Javi, and then Josh and everybody. If we were to have just one big team, oh my God, can you imagine? I think the world would.
It wouldn't be one of those Facebook teams. I'm talking about an actual behind the scenes team that wants to collaborate together to put out good quality music, not bad information. Just want to make that clear.
Exactly. No, definitely. That's exactly what I mean. Just put the talent together and see what kind of music we can come up with. And I think it would be absolutely phenomenal. Like, I think we would probably break the internet.
Do you actually see some of the stuff that goes on social media and has gone on these lives throughout the year? Or you just turn it off?
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna be honest. I don't. I try to get on social media, but to be honest, I really don't very much. It's not that I don't care or anything like that. It's just, I mean, even Tim, he has a show on a weekly basis, and I hardly ever pop in there. Lopez, I absolutely love him, and I just don't have the time sometimes because, mind you, I'm gonna be 48 and I got a 6-year-old. You know what I mean? And so,
right. So you got a lot of running around to do.
There's a lot of running around to do, and on top of that, I'm also a husband, so I got to take care of my situation here at home, and and so it's really hard for me to sit down and actually just watch a live.
Keep it that way.
Yeah, you know what? I'll do it every now and again, but if I ever did hear anything like that, I probably would just shut it off, dude. Because seriously, I don't have time for that. I just don't.
You Chicago boys, man. You and Tim are like, I gotta go to work.
Exactly.
I got work to do. I gotta go make a mix. I gotta go. Do this drive-in party. You got to do some vocals. That's awesome.
Yeah, there's always something to do, and I would rather invest my time than waste it, and so listening to nonsense is a really good way to waste your time.
Right.
It fills your heart and it fills your mind with unnecessary information that's not even true, and or may not be true, or may just be exaggerated, or whatever the case may be, and you gain nothing.
Absolutely right. So, Rudy, thank you so much for joining us tonight. You did it live with us, and you actually did it live. You sang live.
I did.
I can't wait to promote your song, Walking Away.
Thank you.
I purchased it immediately today. The entire single, all 3 versions are available right now on all your favorite digital distribution sites. Yes. Look for Rudy on CPR's Freestyle Countdown, because that's definitely going to go on there. With the response that I got today, it is going to be something that's going to be reckoned with, or needed to be reckoned with for 2021. If anybody wants a spot on the countdown, they got to go through Walking Away.
Well, I appreciate that, and I'm pretty sure that the seeds that we're planting of positivity out there are going to create those tracks that will eventually top it, and I'm looking forward to hearing those. I really am.
Rudy, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Thank you for thinking of me for Walking Away and coming on here. This is the beginning of many interviews. You have one this up and coming Sunday, I believe, on the Freestyle Spotlight Countdown.
Yes. I'll be there. I believe it's at 6 p.m., 7 p.m.
Yeah.
I gotta take a look at my schedule, but yeah, I'm definitely doing
with DJ Lex and our friend from Canada.
Yes, over at CF Ma'am. So we're gonna take care of them as well. So we'll be jumping in with them. So I look forward.
I had a great joke in there, but I'm not gonna do it.
Let's not do it.
Keep the joke right here. All right. Yeah, and they're doing their top 30 countdown, and we're going to find out who's going to be number 1 during your show. It's probably a Nelson Rego track. I'm just guessing. Did you? Let me see. Hold on. Let me retweet it twice. Maybe that. All right, Rudy. Thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you so much. You guys have a wonderful evening. Jose, you keep staying blessed, my friend. I care for you. Have a good one. Take care.
I appreciate you. Once again, that is Rudy Fausto, and his brand new song, Walking Away, is available right now on all your favorite digital distribution sites. Thank you so much to Fred Nice, AJ Cardona, for coming by, the founder of Vocal Image. Angel Mena, of course, blew us off. Thanks, brother. You're supposed to be here co-hosting. I fell asleep. Once again, we're here every Tuesday at 9 p.m. To talk freestyle, to talk facts. Don't forget to subscribe to the CPR's Clubhouse Freestyle Podcast, available on iTunes and Google Podcast app, also on Stitcher, also on Overcast. As you may know, we're no longer on iHeartRadio, or we're no longer on Spotify, and that has to do with them not wanting me to promote new music first before them. So that was the reason that I got in my email. I was playing new music first. All right. Even they get mad about me being Mr. Exclusive. And I got letters from all the different record labels, and I submitted them. And they were like, we don't care, giving me permission to play these songs. But we're going to continue using the avenues that we have. Don't forget that I'm with you Friday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on 90.7 FM, WTCC in Western Massachusetts and Connecticut. You could download the TuneIn Radio app to listen to us live. Also, at the same time, at 7 Pacific Time, we're at Rhythm 105.9 FM with CPR's Freestyle Countdown. They start at the same time. Some people ask me about CPR's Top 20 Freestyle Countdown, and because I only have 1 hour on Rhythm 105.9, that's the reason why I went back to a Top 10. I love doing the Top 20, but I wanted to make sure that everyone was heard during the Top 10 and new music was played. Our show in Massachusetts and Western Mass and Connecticut is 6 hours a week, where Rhythm 105.9 is only 1 hour a week. So just wanted to make sure there were consistent shows that aired at the same time and there was the same thing. But Clubhouse Dance Music, our flagship show on 90.7, is every Thursday, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and Fridays, 8 p.m. to 12 midnight. That's 90.7 FM WTCC in Western Massachusetts and Northern Connecticut. And you can listen to us on the TuneIn Radio app. Rhythm 105.9 has their own app. You can go to the App Store and get Rhythm 105.9 FM.com, the app. You can also go directly to their website. I always put the links on the CPR's Clubhouse page, so you can come and enjoy the countdown live. And of course, as you go to cprsmusic.com or cprsclubhouse.com, you can click to get to the podcast. So everything premieres at the same time, 10 o'clock on Fridays. You get it on the podcast, you get it on 90.7, and you get it at 7 o'clock Pacific time at Rhythm 105.9. And coming soon to more radio stations, terrestrial radio stations in 2021. I gotta go. Until next time, at CPR, say goodbye. And remember, it's not who you love, it's how. Don't forget to subscribe to the CPR's Clubhouse YouTube channel. Talk to you soon.